Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Friendship Dawn podcast. Here with me today is my friend Skylar.
Hello.
Um, Today is the week of October the 24th. And how has your day been, Skylar?
My day today has been pretty great. Got some D&D in. Woke up kind of late. I've been slowly drifting back onto this pseudo graveyard schedule, which I need to stop because I need to be able to wake up earlier. So I don't just wake up and then have to immediately go to work.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't know. I keep setting my alarm for pretty early in the morning and then waking up and turning it off, going back to sleep. Oh, that reminds me of something I wanted to talk about. I had a really long, vivid dream last night.
Oh, wow.
I think it was when I woke up and then I went back to sleep because it was fucking long and I was out for an hour afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, moving on to the card of the day. The card of the day today is Spell Snip. It is 2 and a U for instant. It says counter target spell unless its controller pays 1 generic mana. It has cycling for 2, which means you can discard the card and draw a card. So this brings up an interest. Oh, it's also from Shards of Alara, which I didn't know Shards said cycling in it. What?
I was going to ask what set it's from.
Yeah. This brings up an interesting thing, which is cards that are situationally very powerful, right? Because this is a riff on the card spell or force spike,
mm-hmm.
which costs 1 blue mana, does the counter effect but doesn't have cycling. So the interesting part about force spike, right, is that if you go really late into the game, the card force spike is essentially useless because your opponent doesn't have anything
They'll always be able to pay the 1 mana.
They'll always be able to pay the 1 mana, but it's really good in the early game. You're playing it for the effect that it grants in the early game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The tempo advantage, the blah 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 blah.
Sure.
Right? Because 1 mana countering a spell is really powerful.
Extremely, yes.
Yeah. But this card does a thing I don't like to force spike, which is that it gives it a backstop. I think this card's probably unplayable because it's 3 mana counter target spell.
Yes,
and
it's too much mana.
It's too much mana to counter a spell, and most unconditional counters are 3 mana anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So the paying the one is the drawback on it is insanely high just for it to have cycling.
Yeah, you would rather just play
Cancel.
counter target spell.
Yeah. This is more splashable, but that's kind of just the theme of the set.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Shards is a multicolor block, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. The big thing that this leads into is the idea of cycling. So there's a few ways to do cycling, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's on cards like Shark Typhoon that will when you cycle them they do something else, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's cards like Spell Snip, which is the card of the day, obviously, mm-hmm. and I think it's Dissenter's Deliverance. Let me just
do the thing.
Yeah.
Also, happen to have cycling.
Yeah, which is just destroy target artifact and then cycling, right? And what they do is they're effects that you generally can't put in your deck because they're so narrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it gives you the option to put them into your deck so that you with the backstop of cycling, right? You don't need the card, you just get rid of it. Move on to the next thing.
Sure.
Right? And I think that this can be interesting. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, there's kind of a third thing to cycling, which is this is a really big card that costs a lot of mana and then it cycles for a little, right? So in the early game it's a cycling card, and in the late game it's a big thing.
Yeah, in the late game it's the red.
Yeah.
I think that's I don't know. The thing with Shark Typhoon is it just sucks that you never really play Shark Typhoon for Shark Typhoon's actual effect, you basically only ever cycle it. I think it's more interesting to have the cycling effect in the early game and then have it be a threat in late game.
Yeah, and then have it be like a 6-mana 5/4 in late game, right?
Sure. I think that's more interesting modally than having something like Spell Snip, which is like a really mediocre ability, but then you also can just cycle it. I don't know.
I think Spell Snip in particular was a bad one to land on the roulette wheel because the card itself is just so, like, the face-up card that you want to cast instead of cycling is so bad. Right? But like cards like Dissenter's Deliverance, Forsake the Worldly.
I think Dissenter's Deliverance is a perfect example, right?
Yeah.
You have Destroy Target Artifact, which is most of the time a really useless ability.
Yeah.
Until you go up against the artifact that will win them the game.
Yeah. Right? And then it's so good to have that effect.
Yeah, the removal effect.
Right? But against people you don't need it against, you just
cycle it away.
Yeah, get rid of it. And I think those are really good cards. I think that this version of cycling, which is narrow ability, right? Like maybe it's destroy target like green creature for a black card, right?
Uh-huh.
That also can cycle away. Destroy target green creature is probably too narrow. That's probably the Spell Snip problem. But like in the sweet spot of destroy target artifact or something.
Yeah.
With the cycling ability makes a really like valuable card, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because in there is still a cost to playing these cards, right?
Yes.
Like you can't just play them instead of other cards because
you still have to pay mana to cycle them.
Yeah, you still have to pay mana to cycle them, and they cost more up front.
Yes.
Right? Because they have the cycling ability.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's really interesting of, do I play this fog that cycles or do I not? Right? And it creates a tension in like the meta narrative of like a match, right? So your opponent plays their game winning artifact, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you Dissenter's Deliverance it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then game 2 they draw that artifact, right? And they have to think about what's going on. Because if you have Dissenter's Deliverance, they haven't played the artifact yet, so they might have Dissenter's Deliverance in their hand, or they just haven't found a good time to cycle it, or like maybe they're sandbagging it for your good artifact, or like they need the card like right now, right? So so you create a tension in which you're trying to get the card out of their hand because they need to get like action now, and like the tension of maybe I just play this now and hope they don't have it, right? Like
yeah, it's kind of like the counterspell problem, right? Like if your opponent has like 1 or 2 cards in hand, you can try and hope that they don't have the counterspell, or you can just jam something else to try and get through them.
Yeah. Counterspell's a little different though.
I agree.
Yeah.
I was just trying to make an analogy.
Anyways, that's what I find interesting on this iteration of cycling. We can talk about the other versions at like different times.
Yeah, other versions that come up for card of the days and stuff.
Yeah. Do you have anything else you want to say about Spell Snip?
Spell Snip. God, I wish it wasn't 3 fucking mana. That's so much.
It's so much
like,
fun,
what are you gonna do on turn? What are you gonna like hold? Like,
do I play?
It's also
my
so much
drop?
mana to hold up.
Yeah.
If you're just like, all right, turn 3, land, pass.
Your opponent just like looks at you like, okay.
You could have just revealed that you had Spell Snip in your hand if you really wanted. Like, it's so. I don't know, man. This is like. Especially for it to only like it's not even like if they pay 2 or more. It's if they pay 1 whole mana more. I don't know. It's a common.
Yeah.
It's
bad cards make good cards look good, I guess.
Yeah, fair. Yeah, that card makes Force Spike look really fucking good.
Moving on. We're going on to the weekly work segment.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have very many stories from your week? Because in my notes I seem to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
I have one story for sure.
Okay.
So, and then maybe your stories will remind me about stories. That's usually something that happens.
Okay. So, I guess I'll start with this one. So I'm on the $5 blackjack table, right? Dealing all the cards, comes out for the time to shuffle the deck, right?
Yep.
Put the deck in the shuffler, pull the second one out, grab the bottom cut card, roll it, put the other one on top, and I move the deck over to somebody. And I'm like, "You want to cut?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." So they take the cut card and perpendicular to the deck of cards on the front card start jamming it in. And then I look at them and I'm like, are they trying to mark the... I look at what they're doing, I'm like, are they trying to mark the card?
Perpendicular?
Yeah. So like, the deck is like, they have the cut card and they're putting it across like that. Like,
so like if you had
like you were trying to cut the cards in half.
Like in the middle.
Yeah. Like you were trying to cut through,
rather than slicing a loaf of bread from left to right. You would slice the loaf of bread directly down the center.
Yeah. So you have two bread halves.
Yeah. I'm trying to make this not need a visual.
Yeah.
That's extremely strange.
So yeah. Down the river, not across it.
Oh, okay, there we go. Yeah.
So that's
awful. What did you do?
They keep cutting the deck, and I just sit there and I'm looking at it, and nobody at the table saying anything, and then I'm like, are you trying to cut? And they're like, yeah, I don't know why I won't go in. And then I go like, I put my hand like parallel to the thing, and I'm like, you have to put it in this way.
Yeah.
And they're like, huh, never heard of a parallel cut before. And they just put the thing in. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I'm like, what casino do you go to that like
this man
has perpendicular cutting?
Is a merry prankster. I believe he's trying to get across a bit, saying that he's going to cut the cards. Normally, if you were to take a pair of scissors and cut the cards, you would need to cut them perpendicularly because it's impossible to cut them parallel to the cards.
Yeah.
Right? So I think he's trying to insinuate that he was trying to make the joke, all right, I'm going to cut the cards, and then, like karate chop them in half.
But he wasn't, like, jovial at all. He was just, like, he actually seemed frustrated that he wasn't being able to get the thing in, which is why I was like, are you trying to cut? Like,
Oh, maybe the problem is he thought you were going to orientate the cards a different way.
Yeah.
Right? Because normally you have the cards so that the front of the deck, or the back of the deck, you can see it, right?
Yeah.
I think he meant you should have turned it 90 degrees so that he can put it straight in the middle.
Yeah.
Rather than him having to turn his hand to the side and putting the cut card in sideways.
Yeah. There's also another person who asked me if they could do it with their right hand. I was like, dude, sure, yeah, whatever.
Why do people have the dumbest questions? Oh my god.
I even like put the deck on the other side of the shoe for him, and I was like, here you go.
Yeah. Maybe that's what he meant. I have people do that every so often where it's easier for me to like do the process if I have it in my left hand and they cut it like that, but they're like, I'm right-handed, so I have to be like, okay, and I put it in my other
especially
hand.
since it's not that hard to like just come in from the other end.
Yes.
Like I don't know.
But you're there for them, so you cater to them.
Yeah, that's very fair. Anyways, what's your story?
So my story is I'm in pit 4,
Mm-hmm.
which is the non-smoking pit, super far away from everything else. I'm at the pie out table.
Yeah.
And I'm dealing to a couple of the regulars. One of them who like doesn't really, I don't think ever speaks at all.
Yeah.
He just like makes hand motions, not not sign language. Like makes hand motions and laughs, and is honestly pretty fun to play with. They're usually not very salty.
Yeah.
And it's I'm dealing out Pai Gow, and then I go to reveal my hand, and everyone's like, no way, and I'm like, no way, and then I orient the cards, and it is in fact the 9-high Pai Gow. And 2 people were playing it, so I even gotta pay it out.
Yeah.
And the regular that wasn't speaking was playing $5 on it, so that was pretty sick.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I don't think I've told the story about the time I fucked up the shuffler really bad, have I?
No, I don't think you have. You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead. We'll alternate.
Cool. Do you want to hear? Here, pick
Give me some,
one of these, except the top 2.
Let's go. Let's do Hot Pocket. I like Hot Pocket. Let's do Hot Pocket.
Okay, so this is a break room story.
Okay, cool.
So we're in the break room, and one of the pit floors is talking to 2 of the swing shift people who are from China. So like they used to live in China and they've moved here, right? And
nice.
So
that's cool.
They're talking about like the food that they like and all that stuff, right? And then like there's obviously an inside joke with them where like he's like, what type of Chinese food do you like? And then like one of them says people in America really like orange chicken, right? Because and like he said that because we were in the same class. He said that to our class too. And the joke is like it's not actually orange chicken because like we put so much sugar in it or whatever.
Okay.
So
that sounds right.
This conversation keeps going. They talk about like pizza and all this stuff, and they're like, and one of the ones from China is like, when I moved here, I thought I would be able to eat like the fast food of like McDonald's every day, but it's so much worse here than it is in China.
Oh wow!
Right? Yeah. And he says like he goes on this thing about how like the Pizza Hut in China uses like seafood, and it's like it's almost impossible to get pizza there because everybody wants it all the time, right? And it's like so good because it's like locally owned, and then here it's like absolute trash. Right, like basically inedible.
Yeah. Oh my god, that sounds about right.
Yeah. And so, what happens is like the floor eventually asks, so like, what do you guys like eat like not restaurant wise in like China? And so, one of the people from China says, hot pot, which is a soup with a bunch of different stuff in it. And then the pit says, you guys have Hot Pockets? You guys get a lot of Hot Pockets? And looks over to the other one and starts talking about Hot Pockets. And then the first one is like shaking his head up and down. He's like, yeah, hot pot.
Oh no.
So he's talking about Hot Pockets. The other one's like, we don't really eat Hot Pockets over there. They're not like we don't have very many Hot Pockets. And then he's going like, well, A over here is telling me about how they have Hot Pockets all the time. And he says, you said Hot Pockets, right? And then he was like, yeah, Hot Pocket, both. We have them both all the time.
Oh my god.
And then what ensues is like a 5-minute conversation between all 3 of them, in which one of them keeps saying, yeah, the Hot Pockets all the time. And the other one is like, no, he means hot pot, which is like a soup. And then the pit like jokingly being like, so like is a hot pot like ramen or like
oh my god. Wow. That's extremely great.
It's just fucking so much going on. It's so funny because A is intentionally trying to confuse.
Yeah, he's gaslighting the floor. Yeah, he's actually gaslighting, being like, yeah, Hot Pockets and Hot Pots, we have them both. And in person B is like, No, stop.
Do you not know what a hot pot is? And then like he's like, it's kind of like a soup, but like not really. And then like he's like, so it's noodles. You're having ramen. you put noodles in your hot pot, and then he's like, no, that's different.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah.
So there was one time that I had picked up a deck of cards to like put it back in the shuffler. This was also in Pit 4. It was at one of the blackjack tables in Pit 4. Yeah. And so I put it in. I go to take out the other deck. Mm-hmm. Very slippery. And and I have my thumb on the top, my middle finger on the bottom, kind of using like the palm of my hand to grip it. And then I guess I'm too close to the edge of the cards and pressing down too hard because it just goes and just it like as if I was trying to like launch them at somebody like and they just go flying. They go flying out the pit, in the pit, on me, into the big problem there is that a couple of them go into the shuffler, sliding face up, like standing up alongside the back of the shuffler. So when the floor comes, or I then am like, I'm trying to take them out, and I've called the floor over, like, floor, and right as they're coming up, they're like, oh, hey, what's going on? The shuffler automatically, like, time locks and begins to close. And the floor is just like, all right, just hand shuffle that one, and then we'll like see if all the cards are there when it gets out. And in my head, I'm like, did he not see the cards that had gotten up against the back of the that went in? Like, oh no. Yeah. Oh, and so I start like hand shuffling, and the shuffler doesn't give a red light. Yeah. It just is like, alrighty, I'm shuffling. And so I'm like, okay, maybe it'll all be okay. So I'm hand shuffling. I finish hand shuffling. The person who goes to tap right as soon as the person comes to tap me out, it's like tap on shoulder, boop, red light. The floor comes over. I shout that there's a red light. Floor comes over, presses on the button, and opens up the thing. There, it's like halfway through shuffling, and there are just fucking crumpled cards in the shuffler, just like mangled. And I'm like, oh god, I'm so sorry. So now the person who's tapped me in has to hand shuffle, and the floor has to deal with like changing out these cards, and I go on break. Peace out. Boom. Sorry, guys. You deal with my mess. Bye. It felt really bad, but I guess it was really easy to fix. The floor was like, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Yeah. But it's probably the worst I've ever fucked up a deck, like a deck of cards and had to hand shuffle. Mm-hmm. Like, hands down.
Yeah. I've had a lot of times where, like, it's hand shuffle, and then it's just immediately break. Right? So, so I had a time where I walked up to tap somebody out, and as I'm tapping them out, the cards all over the table. And then one of the floors walks up, and then he's like, yeah, Ivan will do it.
Oh my god. I mean, it makes sense, but also that sucks.
Yeah. Anyways, then I had one time on 8 where I had all the decks in my hand, and then someone tapped me, and then it scared me, and then I all the cards.
Oh no!
And then I was like floor, and then they came over, and they were like, "Yeah, just go on break." The other dealer will deal with it.
Yep. Yeah, because they don't want to take time out of your break.
Yeah, fair. I mean, it's only my fault.
I know. But I don't know. You can't think of like everything like that, man. Like it's a really antagonistic way of looking at interacting with other human beings.
Yeah.
Let's do. I really want to do the Spanish one.
Spanish one?
Yeah.
Okay. So you ever tap onto the Spanish table and be like, okay, it's Spanish, but I feel like I can get through it, right?
No.
Okay.
Spanish is for degenerates, and I hate dealing it.
Got it. This is a great point to mention the name of the story, Shoot Yourself Spanish. So you get to the Spanish table and you're never in a good mindset because you've just been told to go to the Spanish table, or you're worse, you're on a string for the Spanish table. I was on a string.
So you already know.
Yeah, I was on it. I'm like, this is the last time I'm dealing Spanish for the night. It's coming to. This is it. This is all I have to do. Immediately get on the Spanish table. Someone's turned the fucking heater way up. It's fucking hot as hell in this room. I've got a mask on. I'm fucking like sweating in my long sleeve uniform. Like it's.
So sorry. It's awful.
It's so humid because it was raining outside too. So like it feels awful. And I didn't get a drink, like, I don't think I got a drink on my break. So the whole time I'm, like, coughing a little bit, right?
Thirsty, yeah.
Yep. And we're going through the shoe, and then, like, you know, the type of person who, like, bets insurance every hand, and, like, doubles on their hard 13s, and, like, you know... splits their 3s against the 10 and stuff like that, right? You know those people.
Yeah, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all.
Yeah, literally every Spanish player, right? Everybody at the table, double my hard 12. And then I'm thinking, at least the table will be dead soon. These players are like doing literally the worst possible plays. And it's just, they can't lose. They can't lose. They are the fucking gods of luck because they double a hard 13 and they get an 8. It's the only thing they know how to do. Oh, yeah. I've got a 6 and an 8, which is 14 against a 6. Might as well hit that. Oh, it's a 7. I get a bonus payout. What are the chances?
It's insane, dude. Every time you're like, all right. Time to close the Spanish table. You pay. Like I'll go through like weeks where I ruin people on Spanish, and then out of nowhere, people just can't lose. You just pay. I broke 5 times in a row on that Spanish table. Wow, that's actually crazy.
With 10 ups, with 4 ups, with 2 ups, fucking. Couldn't get a hand in. And my heart goes out to all those Spanish players. I'm glad that you made money at Spanish. You're probably some of the very few people to ever do so. But man, there is no worse feeling. And then like I'm thirsty and I'm talking and I'm saying all the numbers, right? Mm-hmm. And so like it gets to a point where I'm just like 14 16 staying on 16 against the 10. Okay, we're staying over there. Pair of 6s. Oh yeah, you're splitting. You're splitting against the 10, of course.
Fucking course you are.
13. It's a double. Seems good. It's an 8. It's an 8, man. And then flip it over. Flip the 6 over. It's 11. 2. Ace. 10. I guess I'll pay everybody. Woo! Hero of the table.
Oh my god. Yeah.
And that is Shoot Yourself Spanish.
Yeah.
Because it's the only...
I'm sure
probably the only time dealing that I feel like, wow, can I not? Can I just call in sick this push? Like, fuck.
Hey, have a point, man. You can take off early.
And it's never like the bad times of Spanish are always when you're like this will be fine. I haven't broken in like 2 months. Like it's just Spanish.
I haven't busted Spanish hand literally all week.
Yeah. And then you come on and then it's just like
you just shit the bed.
Yeah.
You just show up and absolutely fucking shit the bed. Just break every hand. Paying bonuses like there's no tomorrow.
Suited match every hand. I actually had a suited match 4 hands in a row. And I don't think I had a hand without a match.
Yep. recommendation for next time: call the floor, ask him to turn the fan towards you.
I can't do the fan, actually.
Really?
The fan undoes my ponytail and blows my hair to my ass.
Oh, what a nightmare! Oh my god.
I often
abysmal.
actually tell the floors, hey, can you like move that fan away from me? But like I never call them just to do that. I always just like change one, and then they're over there, and I'm like, hey, can you like move the fan? And like half the time they're just like, well, time to get back to that conversation I was having with Billy. Like, yeah.
Oh, that does remind me of a story, I suppose, if I can get one more in.
Yeah, go for it.
So I'm at a dead Spanish table. It's Spanish 1? Because it's on my...
Next to roulette?
Yeah, next to roulette, next to Pai Gow.
Yeah.
So the roulette dealer is like, change to black. The floor is having a conversation with the person at dealing... Well, standing at the dead Pai Gow table.
Yeah.
He's just like, changing to black. Check change to black.
Yeah.
Floor person, and then like calls out their name by name.
Yeah.
And then they come over, and then they go back, and then they need something else from them, and they're just like, hey, and at this point they've like turned, like I can see out of the corner of my eye that they've turned their body like basically away from the table, and are like, person B, and then at one point they're just like, ah. And I almost lose it. And the whole time I'm thinking, like, am I supposed to do something? Because I'm directly in the center of them, and I'm not sure if I should be like, floor, they need you, but I'm not supposed to talk to other tables.
Yeah.
And so I'm just standing there listening to the roulette dealer be like, person, floor A, check change 2, and I'm just losing it.
This reminds me of, so I was on BJ 10, which is right next to UTH2, right?
Yes.
So dual rate, talking to the person at the dead UTH2 table, right? My table also dead. My mask breaks. And so, like, I have to, like, take my hand up, or, like, I clear my hand, I put my hand, like, and I'm holding my mask up with my hand, and then I say, floor! And then nothing happens. And I, like, look over a little bit, and I can see mask just on the thing, and I'm like, floor! Floor! And I, like, look over, and I'm like, floor! And then, like, the dual rate looks at me, and I guess sees the dead table and goes like, must not be him.
I must have been.
And then goes back to talking to the person. And then I'm like, floor! Floor! I just look at him and I say, name! Can I get your help? And then they're like, yeah, what is it, man? And I'm like, my mask broke. Can you give me a new one? And he's like, oh yeah, sure. And he like literally doesn't even need to move from where he's standing, grabs a new one. And I'm like, what are you doing?
Come on!
You're the only person I can talk to.
You're the only person who can help me. I need an adult. You're the adult. Why are you helping me?
Yeah.
I know that feeling though, because anytime anybody wants a server, I'm always like in the middle of dealing but calling a floor, and I know that the floor looks over at me, sees that I'm dealing, sees that nothing's wrong, and is like, well, it couldn't have been them.
Yeah.
And turns back, and I have to remember to be like, if when they look at me, I need to call floor so that they know that I'm calling the floor over.
Yeah. Yeah, when people ask for a server, I'm just like, yeah, I'll see what I can do, and then I call floor. And if they don't come in like a minute or two, I just like wait for someone to change in money, and then I'm like, hey, yeah, also they want a server.
That's fair too.
Anyway,
I try to get away with telling people that I'll let them know if I see a server.
Yeah.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes that's the end of the conversation, but usually not.
Yeah, a lot of the time I just go like, yeah, of course. and then don't do anything, don't say anything, and then like hope that they forget. Like, why don't I shoot your servers? Because like even when you get the floor to call the server, like they could still just not come for like 30 minutes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's like, what's even the point at that point, right? Like,
my favorite iteration of that is anytime anybody asks me for help with a slot machine.
Yeah.
Somebody will like stop me. Excuse me, hi. Can you help me here? Or can you get a slot attendant? And I'll be like, absolutely. Make sure you push the button on the light. I will go get one right now, and immediately leave and forget they exist.
I had someone say, I've got a jackpot. Can you get a slot attendant for me? And I was like, yeah. I'll see what I can do. I got to go on shift right now, though. And I walk up to one of the floors, and I'm like, hey, they need a slot attendant over there. And they were like, yeah, they got a little wristband thing that tells them. And I was like, okay.
Hell yeah. He looked at you, told you it's not our problem, and you were like, fuck yeah. Nice.
I've also had someone be like, hey, can you tell me where the slot machine is? And then I was like, I think I saw it over in like that direction. So the worst part is like when you walk like right out of the pit and then someone asks you, hey, can you help me? And I always just want to be like, yeah, of course. But then the thing is that they're like, yeah, I want to find this thing, or I want to go here. And then I'm like, that's a 10-minute, at the speed that you walk, that's a 10-minute walk, and I won't be able to get any break-in. So I'm sorry.
Yep, it's in that direction. You point in you say it's in that direction, point in a random direction that isn't the direction of the bathroom, and then you leave.
I don't know, I want to help them. But one dude was like, how do I get the cash from the machine? And I was like, what? And they were like, the cash from the machine. How do I do the thing with the cash machine? And I was like, security might be able to help you. And they're like, no, I need the cash from the machine so that I can do the thing. I think they were, and I was like, what are you talking about? Can you explain your problem to me in a more direct way? They were like, I'll just go to the cash machine and do the cash machine. And I was like, okay.
Good luck with that. Have a nice day. Bye.
No, they just walked away from me. And I was like,
nice. The problem solved itself.
I was so lost. Anyways, that's it for weekly work. We're going to take a quick break from the podcast, and I'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Taking a break from the podcast to tell you all to subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/IvanTT. That's IVANTT. It's how you help support the podcast, how we get all of our stuff together, and you get a sick bonus, and that all Patreons with the tier 2 or higher get a shout out. So quick shout out to Thunderbird145, who is our current tier 2 patron. Thank you, everyone, and back to the podcast. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. We are now moving on to the pre-release preview, where we look at the new Magic the Gathering set and give our opinions on a few of the cards. So, what do you want to look at first, Skylar? So there are a few cool things. There are blood tokens. There's the showcase frame. There's a new Planeswalker. There is Cleave, and there is Training.
Oh, wow. That's like, wow, what a gift basket.
Yeah.
Let's save blood tokens for last.
Okay.
Though that's like saving best for last. Let's take a peek at the new Planeswalker first, and then we'll go from there.
Soren the Mirthless.
Soren. Good to have him back. Haven't played with the Soren either in a long time or ever. Oh, hi, Dracula. Hi, actual Dracula.
Oh, fuck. Oh.
What?
They're,
More?
Abraham Van Helsing.
Oh, actual, yeah. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah, these are Holy shit!
What are these?
They're crossover cards that probably don't come in the booster packs, but are like box toppers.
That's fucking great.
Yeah. I don't know who
they're like
Van Helsing is.
Oh man. They're like you don't know who Van Helsing is?
No, who is he? Oh,
What?
Never mind.
I remember. He's like an extremely famous monster hunter.
Yep, I remember now. Castle Dracula. Yeah.
But they're like the what are they called? In Ikoria, the Godzilla cards.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Here's Count Dracula. Mina Harker. You know who Mina Harker is?
That might be a Van Helsing character.
Oh, okay. Sisters of Undead. Don't know who that is.
But this might actually just be the Van Helsing movie crossover.
Huh. That's interesting. Because Count Dracula isn't using her twice, so.
Yeah.
So here's Soren the Mirthless.
That's dope. Alright.
Yeah. So he's got three frames.
Holy shit, look at Pretty Boy Soren.
Yeah, Pretty Boy Soren.
Wow, Twilight Soren.
That's
fucking
great.
It's
a vampire wedding, so this is him at the wedding.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. He costs 2 black.
Okay.
He's a legendary planeswalker. Soren, obviously, his starting loyalty is 4. You can +1 to look at the top card of your library. Reveal that card. You can reveal it and put it in your hand. If you do, you lose life equal to its mana value. So you can +1 to maybe Dark Confidant. If you don't like the card, you don't have to.
Wow.
Or if it's like an Emrakul or something. You have -2 to create a 2/3 black vampire token with flying and lifelink.
Cool.
Yeah. And you get -7 to deal 13 damage to any target and gain 13 life.
Cool.
Yeah, I like this Soren. I think he's really cool. He's a card
Soren's
advantage
dope.
engine.
Yeah, he is card advantage engine.
Yeah.
Right, his -2 is like pretty good. It's still like, I think I would pay 4 mana for like a 2/3 flying lifelink, and then still have some upside. Right, they still have to take care of Soren.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just bob.
Yeah. I think the ability of him to come down and make a vampire is very powerful.
Agreed.
I like the +1 ability. The half and half of like you don't have to do it if you don't like it. Is kind of interesting, but I mean, like, even if it's a bad card, you're gonna put it into your hand.
Unless it's, yeah.
The only problem is when you're at a low life total, right?
Yeah, I think that's why it's interesting, is because you can still do it while you're. Also, you can do it without, right? It's the thing where it's the like loyalty counter for a loyalty counter, right?
Yeah.
You get to at least like look at the top card, then he gets a loyalty counter. If it's gonna kill you, then obviously you don't put it in your hand.
Yeah.
It allows you.
But the problem is, like, I feel like the situations in which you're in the death range for the +1, you just activate the -2 instead.
That's fair.
I don't know. I think it adds interesting stuff to the card. I just don't think it like
matters as much as the -2.
Yeah, like I don't think the things that it had like actually matter.
Mm-hmm.
Like the relevance on the Soren, like on the not having to put it into your hand is like so medium. And there are 4 arts of it. So.
I honestly think it's just the. Count Dracula. I think it's just the protection against killing yourself, so you can just put a loyalty counter on him.
Yeah, I mean, I think.
Right, like if he's at 1 and you can't make a vampire, but you still want to do something with him, at least you.
Yeah, I know. I'm saying that the scenarios in which that comes up, I don't feel are very often.
Yeah.
Right, like he needs to be at 1 and you need to be at 1, or he's at like 6 and your opponent's at 13, so like you win the game if you ultimate them, and you're at like 5, right? Like,
yeah.
Anyways,
what else? That's cool Planeswalker. I'm glad there's only 1, not like 5.
There's gonna be a Chandra, I'm pretty sure, at some point.
Well, Chandra's cool, I guess.
Yeah.
What else did you say? There was training.
Training, Cleave, Disturb, Exploit.
Well, Disturb we've seen.
No, it's a new version of Disturb.
What? Oh. Let's take a peek at Disturb then.
Cool. So all of the cards with Disturb in this set are spirits on the front side. So they're already dead.
Wow. And then their backside is
an enchantment that's
what?
The spirit's essence left over.
Yo. That's rad.
Yeah, there's a really good one up here. Ooh, more Eternal Nightlands.
Oh, I love. Oh,
this one has like
so
a
sick.
ship and a kraken on it. That's
oh my god,
cool as fuck.
Those lines are so cool.
Yeah. Direct-to infantry. This is the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, that's
So the flavor text on the front side is he swore to protect the moorlands. A little thing like death could not break his oath. He's a 1 and a white for a 2/2 spirit soldier. He has Disturb for 3 and a white. Gives enchant creature +2/+2, and they're holding his sword and his shield.
Yeah.
And it says when he could no longer carry on, he imparted his strength to the one who took up his duty.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think the new take on spirits is like really cool. That's a wedding thing. Sad I don't get to see the back of this card because it's not showing up. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. I just think it's a really cool idea, and it's an evolution of the mechanic, right? Because last set was humans die, become spirits. Mm-hmm. Now it's spirits die, become enchantments.
Oh, that's really cool. Yeah, Plus, any like graveyard interaction, I think, is kind of neat.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool stuff going on there.
All right, what's training?
Training. Whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature.
Oh.
So it's the reverse mentor ability.
Yeah, reverse mentor.
There's one really cool card I saw with it. Most of them are just like draft commons, like 1/4s and stuff. There's a 1/2 with training, and when it whenever it trains, you exile a creature that's in play or in a graveyard.
Okay.
And when it dies, it puts all the cards exiled with it back to their owner's hands.
Leads the battlefield. Put the exiled cards onto the battlefield under their owner's control.
Oh, onto the battlefield?
Yep.
Oh, fuck. Okay,
it's a reanimator, kind of.
Yeah. Also, this is Van Helsing, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can like reanimate your own stuff. You could put another one underneath it, and then like when they deal with that, you just get it back.
That's dumb.
I mean, it's no longer trained, so it doesn't have all the counters on it.
Sure,
but hard to train again. Yeah. Yeah, and it's Van Helsing.
Yeah.
That's the only really interesting card I saw with training when looking at all of them. I haven't seen like a few of these cards up here. I hadn't seen any of the Dracula cards either, but I am very excited to show my significant other those.
Yeah, that's sick. Cool. Let's take a look at Cleave. What's Cleave do?
Cleave, I think, is an incredibly cool design space. Let me see if I can find the one card we know about with Cleave. So, Dig Up, it's a green sorcery, and it says search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, and put it in your hand, and then shuffle.
But basic land and reveal it are in brackets.
And then if you play its Cleave cost, which is 1 black green, you can cast a spell for its Cleave cost. If you do, remove the words in square brackets.
Oh!
So, if you take out basic land and reveal it, it says search your library for a card, put that card in your hand, and then shuffle. I think this keyword is so good and so elegant.
I love it.
I
am so immediately in love. I wish I had saved this one for last.
I love it so much. So there's so much you can do too. Like you can make the Cleave cost like cheaper than the actual cost.
Absolutely.
And then like it's like destroy target creature. Wait.
Yeah. With converted mana cost 3 or less, and no converted mana cost
yeah. Actually, I don't know if you can do that, but like the idea is there, right? So that would be the other way around.
I bet you could figure out a way to do it.
Yeah, it would be it costs like 1, and it says destroy target creature with converted mana cost 2 or less, and the 2 or less are in brackets.
Yeah,
but like, it's so like interesting to think about what you could do with Cleave and the mechanical idea of Cleave. And like this it's a green card. It's green. The entire thing looks green. But the Cleave costs black.
Yep.
Right? So when you cast it, it's still a green card, but you're doing a black effect, and I think that's really cool.
It's pretty sick.
Like it's like Overload, but like it's less restrictive, right?
I also think it's more interesting than Overload. Overload is pretty neat, but I don't know. Cleave is same concept though.
Yeah.
Anyways, continue.
I thought of one that you could that the cleave cost could cost less.
Yeah, go ahead.
It is return target creature you don't control and target creature you control to the owner's hand, and the cleave cost is remove the creature you control from that.
Oh, that would cost less.
Yeah, hypothetically, right? It's just unsummon.
Yeah, but you can unsummon your own creatures.
Yeah.
Weird.
So like, it's taking away a drawback though, right? Like, or like a card that says as an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, right?
Oh.
But if you pay the cleave cost, you lose that text. Oh yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
This is hard to think about without having it written out in front of me.
I think we would need to like bring up the magic set editor.
Yeah.
Because in order for the cost to the cleave cost to be cheaper than the spell cost, it needs to be, the brackets need to remove an upside, not a downside.
Yeah.
So
like if it said like gain 3 life at the end.
Yes. If gain 3 life was in
brackets. The cleave cost could cost less. Yeah.
Yes, the cleave card. Yeah, theoretically.
Or if
it was on a creature, and on the creature, flying was in brackets, and then you can cast the creature for its cleave cost. Cheaper, but it doesn't have flying.
Yeah. Or if it said like when it enters the battlefield, draw a card.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I love that. Oh my god, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I hope it's not just an instant sorcery thing and we see it on a couple creatures.
Oh, yeah.
That'd be so
I don't
cool.
know. Like, it's so hard to keep track of with, like, creatures, though, if they, like, lose the text indefinitely.
Oh, yeah, you'd need to find a way to put it, like, you would have to put, like...
They'd have to be enter the battlefield triggers. You would have to do, like, just UTB things. Yeah.
That's too bad.
Which is, like, unfortunate.
Yeah, because otherwise you'd need to put a counter on it to make sure that players remembered the stuff.
Yeah. Like, maybe the thing where it's, like, this enters the battlefield with a flying counter.
They bring back... I don't think they'll bring back the ability counters. But
no,
that would be sick.
No, they're evergreen now. They're in every set. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wait, what other sets have...
Ascendant Spirit has it?
From this set?
No, from Kaldheim.
Oh, wait, really?
Yeah, it puts a flying counter on it. Put a flying counter on it.
Oh. Wow, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. Like, we could just be like, the flying counter. Okay, that's not restrictive enough, but... you know? Never mind. That's going to be too much work.
Yeah. Seeing the one in Kaldheim was good enough for me. Yeah. I think that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Neat. Oh, that's so sick. Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the original source for these, but it seems to just be a bunch of, like, Magic the Gathering articles.
Clickbait articles, yeah.
Oh, here it is.
Oh.
Dracula series. Brings Bram Stoker's Dracula novel to life.
Oh, it is. Okay, it's the Dracula
18
novel.
cards, alternate artwork, locations, objects inspired by the original novel. These cards are mechanically identical. Blah, blah, blah. There are 3 places you can find the Dracula series cards. 7 of the 18 will be in single card box toppers and collector boosters. 17 of the 18. Okay. The 18th Dracula series card, Castle Dracula, is a buy a box promo. That's neato.
Damn.
Castle Dracula is like pretty mad though.
Oh, really? What does it do?
You can pay 5 tap it to make a blood token. It costs 1 less for each vampire you control, and then you can pay. And then it's a colorless land, and then you can pay a life and make a mana and color to cast a vampire spell. It's just a weird vampire tribal card.
Yeah, it's for the vampire commander deck.
Yeah.
All right, tell me about blood tokens.
Blood tokens?
Yeah.
Cool. Let me remember what blood tokens do. I think they drain for 1. They're like clues.
They're like clues and food.
It's an artifact card with 1 tap, discard a card, sacrifice this artifact, draw a card. They let you loot.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to discard first.
Yeah, but they can't counter it because it's a spell.
What?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. You're saying the downside is the order in which you do these things.
Yes.
Not like, sorry. There's cards that like you discard as a cost, and those are normally pretty bad because, sorry, they feel really bad to get countered.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
It just sucks. Yeah. Weird. Is that a reference to like when were clue tokens? Clue tokens were.
It's a reference to. Well, yeah, clue tokens are Innistrad.
Yeah,
they were
Innistrad.
in fact in the last set.
Okay.
Investigate was in the last set.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So it's a knock on investigate.
Yeah, it's a knock on investigate, and also there's the interesting thing of tokens that do stuff. Oh, it's a
There are interactions with blood tokens, just like there are interactions with food tokens.
In Shadows of Innistrad, the vampire thing was madness.
Yeah,
where you discarded your vampire cards.
Oh,
yeah, because they were going mad because of the Eldrazi.
Yeah.
So it's a riff on that too.
Yeah.
Which is like
very, very intricately tied to the lore. Which is dope. Really cool. Are the dual lands tap lands, or what are those duals?
They're the other half of the ones in the last set. That if you have three, or if they're your third or later land, they enter the battlefield on tap. Opposite of fast lands.
Slow lands. Okay.
Yeah, slow lands. There's also Exploit is coming back. Do you remember Exploit from Khans of Tarkir?
No, not really.
Creature enters the battlefield. You can sacrifice a creature. If you do, you get an ability. This one's a counter spell, so it's a 4-mana 3/3 with flash and flying, and it has exploit. And if it exploits a creature, you get to counter a spell, activate ability, or trigger.
Ooh! Oh man, I love stuff that messes around with activated and triggered abilities.
Yeah. This is a zombie scorpion, and when it enters the battlefield, you can exploit a creature, and when you do, target player draws 2 cards and loses 2 life. That's sign up with them. Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's there's a lot going on too. There's this card called Demonic Bargain, which is exile the top 10 cards of your library, and then it demonic tutors. There's a 3-mana demonic tutor, but you have to exile the 13 cards off the top of your library to cast it.
What the fuck?
Right? That's what I thought.
Why? Weird.
Super weird. Yeah, like, I don't fucking know, dude. It's just like... Wee.
Yeah. The number 13.
Yeah. I don't even know. Like,
that's very bizarre. Like, what if you exile the card that you're... I mean...
Yeah, I guess it's like the drawback, but I don't feel like it's a big drawback. Like...
You just make your deck smaller? I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, you have no control over what you exile, right?
Yeah.
But, like... just feels really weird to put Demonic Tutor in the set and have the drawback be so esoteric.
Yes.
I don't know.
That's a strange card. I'm sure we'll come to either Thalia! Fuck
guess
yeah!
Who's back?
No
back
way!
Again.
Guardian of Thraben?
Actual Guardian of Thraben back
bummer!
Standard.
That sucks!
This is what I was telling you about earlier that I this is the card I'm most excited for to play in Standard.
Wow. Yeah. Jesus, that card is so fucking powerful. Goddamn. Well, so I can't wait to see Thalia constructed.
There's an Eternal Night one.
Oh, that looks sick.
Yeah.
Probably slam that in the cube.
Yeah. And there is a Mina Harker from Dracula.
Oh, which one do you want?
Probably the Eternal Night, but I think this has got to put Thalia in the most different artworks category.
Really?
Yeah, because there is the normal one from this set, this specific card, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben. Yeah. Normal one from this set, the Eternal Night one from this set.
Yep.
The Mina Harker one from this set.
Yep.
The original.
Yep.
The secret layer that is just different arts of this Thalia.
Oh, okay.
So we're at 8. Wow. And the Pro Tour qualifier promo, which makes it 9. Yeah. There's 9 arts for this one card.
Yeah, it's a dope card.
Yeah. It's just just wild, man. I don't know, like, does the card need all this art? Like,
Sure.
sure. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
also the new showcase frame. Not really able to show the people on the podcast, but basically it looks really edgy and it's a vampire thing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got like a bat thing all over it. Yeah.
It's got bats.
Bats. Yeah. Neat. So that's the new set.
That's pre-release preview.
Yeah. Let's move on to the movie minute. So we watched WandaVision a couple of days ago instead of recording the podcast because so much work. Anyways, what were your thoughts on WandaVision?
My thoughts on WandaVision. It's a love letter to sitcoms. It's the people who make Marvel products know what they're doing. It's really watchable. The media that they make is good. I don't think they've ever made like a movie that just isn't watchable.
Yeah.
Like the only reason I don't watch Marvel movies is because I just don't feel it. It's not because they're bad. It's just because I'm just not in the mood for a Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Like basically and WandaVision is definitely one of those that is in the upper ranks. It's basically just a really like it's like the opposite of a Mugen Train. Mugen Train was like a movie that was basically a mini series of episodes for the show, and WandaVision is just a really long movie broken up into bits. Show rules, acting's incredible, special effects are amazing. Disney has too much money and they use it really well.
Yeah. I mean, I really like a lot of it. I get a little caught up on the two vision thing. Like, I get that one is just Wanda's, like, hallucination.
Are you going to put in a thing about spoilers, or?
Oh, well, I just assumed that.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. We've given
gonna
people
talk
ample
about the show.
warning.
Yeah. We were talking about the show, so I thought, like, you know.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure people knew.
I don't know. Like, the two vision thing's kind of weird, but, like, the thing that I find weird about it isn't that the vision from Wanda's, like, subconscious that, like, gets made and, like, fucking it is part of, like, the scenario that she's generated or whatever. I don't have a problem with, like, that vision. My big thing is that I don't like the return of original vision.
Oh.
Like, how original vision gets introduced back in and how he's actually still just, like, alive. I mean, like, I think it's cool how he's, like, he's lost all of his memories or whatever, and he's, like, a new robot at first, and then he, like, gets his memories back. But, like I like that storyline. I like that's there, but I don't know, I'm kind of questionable on the dead character who's back alive. Especially since it's like one of the impervious heroes, right?
Yes.
Like the storyline of, you know, a storyline that ends with certain characters dying and then like later just bringing them back doesn't sit right with me. Like with villains, it's more okay. Like if who the fuck is a dead villain? Like
cannot think of a single example.
Yeah,
but it happens a lot in Saturday morning cartoon from stuff, right?
From Red Skull. Red Skull, he died at the end of Captain America.
Sure.
Yeah. I think if he came back, like that'd be like, whoa, what would a Red Skull survive that? Wow, crazy, right? But like when you do it with the heroes, it makes the heroes just feel like actually invincible.
Yeah,
right.
Because it makes the impact of their death like significantly less impactful.
Yeah. Right.
I definitely am 100% with you on this.
Right, because Vision is a character that's really hard to kill, and then he actually dies. and then it's just like, well, no, actually, never mind.
No, it's okay. Everything's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like it when shows pull punches like that. I agree with you there.
And again, it's not like everything's fine, but it's like the recreation of him is kind of meh, in my opinion.
It doesn't it still makes for a good story, but you would find it more interesting.
It's not that I would find the story more interesting. I think that it's a meta narrative thing where it pulls a little bit away from the meta narrative that's like present, because like you're aware that they're willing to just be to pull the punch back after it's already been like after someone's been punched through the stomach. They're just like, actually no.
Yeah, actually.
Right?
Well, I mean, they like I haven't seen Endgame.
Yeah.
It's Endgame spoilers, but like people get un-Thanos snapped, right? Like,
I don't know. That feels a little bit different. That might just be a thing because of like I've read a bunch of comics, and like generally when someone dies to an Infinity Stone, they don't actually die.
Yeah.
Right? And like the entire like right, like there's an expectation there that like at the end of the first part of like at the end of the first movie everybody dies, and like at the end of the second movie everybody's back. I don't know. It's like interesting because they also so there's a little bit of spoilers for the movie we're gonna watch in the future, but like there's a conscious decision made to like not bring back people who didn't get snapped away, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting because that includes Vision, right? Yes. So they're not going to bring Vision back to life when they could, and that's like an interesting plot point.
Mm-hmm.
But the problem, but like then they just undo it anyways, and in WandaVision, right? So it's like
it's also annoying that it sets this precedent, because then
it
feels like the stakes go away whenever a show does something like this.
Yeah,
like if a character if a main character, quote unquote main character, or like a hero, right? Somebody that the show is attached to, that we get to see the show through their eyes at some point.
Yeah,
if they are killed off, that is meant to be a really big impact. But then when the show sets the precedent that they're like, all right, well, people in this series sometimes don't actually die. It feels really weird to get invested in a character death, because at what point are you just like, well, they're not really dead, don't worry.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like, what were... me and Jess were watching Stranger Things.
Yeah.
Right? And at the end of Stranger Things, there is a quote-unquote character death. And I'm just like, no, there's not.
Wait, which one are we talking about?
Season 3.
Are we talking about Jim Hopper?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I agree, I agree.
Or even in like at the end of season 1, like, well, Elle's got... No, she's not.
Yeah.
Immediately, no, she's fine.
Yeah. It's kind of just like...
And it doesn't set that precedent always, right?
Yeah, like in season 2, like Will's new like stepdad just dies.
Yeah.
Gone forever.
Yep. And it's a huge impact on their lives, and I think that's sick.
Yeah.
And I love it when shows do stuff like that, and the world changes because of it.
Yeah.
And that's so interesting, and I love it when shows do that. And when a show isn't willing to be like, yeah, this character is actually dead and it's gonna suck.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's hard to get invested in stakes, I guess, is the thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the main characters have plot armor, right? And like you subconsciously know
that they're fine.
That they have plot armor, right?
Yes.
That's a thing you're aware of, but what you don't realize is when they just actually tell you that they have plot armor, it creates it takes away a lot of the tension of a lot of scenes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? Because there's this implied thing that like they're going to win this fight, they're going to get through it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then when they actually die and they come back, it's like, well, now the plot armor is so thick, right? It's like
yeah.
Right? It's the difference between someone like when the it's like when the have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
So the giant takes the spear and just like should like absolutely fucking smash Frodo, right?
Yes.
But he has chain link armor on, so he just hits and it stops. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Because there's no amount of force at all in the entire universe that can even push Frodo back anymore. It's just stops. And like at that point, you're like, why would you ever not wear that armor? Like,
you should probably be bathing in that armor.
yeah, like you're literally immortal. Like an immovable object. Like it's an immovable object, and you can just carry. Like you can just have it on you at all times. Like fucking.
It
Jesus
breaks
Christ.
immersion. It's a show's job to make you forget about the fact that you're watching a show.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be immersed and be invested in characters and enjoy tension and enjoy it breaking. And when a character comes back to life, it's so jarring because that never happens in real life. It's something that would never happen.
Yeah.
And it's so immersion breaking for me.
Also, this isn't quite immersion breaking. The girl who has like superpowers.
Okay. This is
So like
huge.
you've been through the barrier twice already. If you go through again, you're gonna get fucked.
Also, they're like, she's like, I've seen enough blood stuff, and they don't really. Was she trying to imply that she had cancer, or like what was that scene about? Where she's like, here are your blood samples, your cells are doing. Here's a bunch of science words.
Yeah, and then she was like, I've seen enough blood samples. I think that was a reference to how her mom had cancer or whatever.
Yeah, right.
But I don't know, like, and then I think she just didn't care or something.
Yeah,
it's fucking.
And then she goes through the barrier again, and
then
there's,
like instead of like her like shredding apart or whatever, it's just like now she has superpowers.
But what are they? And does she? And what can she do with them? And are they only here? And like,
It's
so confusing.
wild.
Like what a bit like what could she? Why do the bullets pass through her and slow down?
She like
What is-
turns into water or something. I don't.
I
Fucking
thought she
know.
was doing the vision thing. She does like a partial vision.
No, because it
where they
slows
just-
down the bullets. I don't fucking know, man. I don't like her powers are not well explained, and she's not even a main character. It turns out, and then
No.
like it's just so like so like what the fuck is going on with this? Like, it's like this weird B plot, and then this B plot is like, and
Goes
radiation
nowhere.
poisoning makes you a god. And then you're like, wait, what? And then they're like, well, back to the A plot. And then you're like, wait, no, I want to like,
Wait,
please explain. And then they're like, us.
Well, I
We
guess
got
she's
an
in space
A plot
now.
to do.
Yeah, I don't know, man. But like
Anyways.
overall, the show is extremely good and watchable.
You want to talk about my favorite trope?
Sure.
Show me without saying you're hilariously confident at your job.
It's the trope of like stubborn military man uses force in every occasion. Or like stubborn military man becomes antagonist because the show needs an antagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, so you're in this position of power and like you're in a negotiation scenario, and then your first thought is like, well, I was just lying this whole time and I was gonna nuke them anyways, right? And it's like, no one would ever do that. No one with any knowledge of negotiation, any like understanding of like missiles and like the technology they're using, or with any care for any innocent person that's in a standoff would act like this. No person with the moral compass, no person with a smart enough brain to get to a position of power. Like, what? How did this person get here? And it don't tell me it was smash, because they're doing that now, and that's the whole reason they're losing and not a good and the bad guy. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think it sucks that like stubborn. I don't know. The show like has to generate an antagonist, so it picks him.
I don't know. He's also like the B plot antagonist, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Like and there's so much like good stuff said about these characters, and it's like he's one of the greatest leaders we've ever had, and then his leading style is literally just like run to your deaths.
Yep.
And everybody's like, yes, sir.
Take the shot. We put a missile in there. Why? Why would you do this?
Yeah. We walked into walked into this negotiation. Everyone was just strapped the fuck with napalm. It's like, what? How? Why? That doesn't benefit anybody.
It doesn't benefit anyone.
What? So your dudes, you're just gonna blow up your own dudes, and nobody's gonna hear about it, and like.
Yeah, also the weird, like, B plot of him being like, I brought back the Vision, then I'm gonna kill fake Vision and pretend that the fake Vision is the Vision that I brought. And it's like, this is so complicated and so unnecessarily evil. It's like so many steps to do an evil thing when you could. It's so much easier and just as good to be like, hey, I made the Vision again.
Yeah.
Yay,
just
me.
like, guys, I made Vision again.
Yeah.
And then the military's like,
wow, that's extremely
Are you
cool.
sure that's not Are you sure that's not a fake Vision? Did you wait? How did you make this Vision? We need a detailed report on how this Vision came into being to prove that it's not a fake Vision that you just made out of thin air.
It's like, even if it was a fake Vision, the military, if they're already this evil, would probably be like, wow, that's cool. Sick.
It's just like,
wow, good job. That's incredible.
Right? And he goes through like the whole process of like doctoring a bunch of footage, and then like Wanda acts unnecessarily aggro for the purposes of letting him doctor this footage. And it's like, okay. Hey, I need to scan you through. Fuck you. I'm gonna break all your locks so that I look like the bad guy.
Yes. Yeah. And shatter the glass and get. Yeah, it's so. Oh my god.
It's like, okay, dude. Like, I don't even know.
Why did you do this?
I really liked the sitcom with like a horror aspect, though. Like,
what they did was fine. But it wasn't like, no, I got what I wanted of the show. I wanted to be unsettled by the show, and there are moments of that show that are fucking unsettling.
Yeah. So many. There's so many good ones.
I think the show does an extremely good job of making like a pretty unsettling scenario with it still being like it's so much better than like Venom, which is kind of, I guess Venom's more like a thriller, right? But it's still like Venom is meant to be like a scary hero, right? He's like an anti-hero. And it just does so much of a better job of being like, well, here's the scenario that's still like basically PG, right?
Yeah.
But it is unsettling. The show is going to like your skin will crawl on some of these scenes.
There's so many.
It's
fucking
like really good,
horrific thing. I don't know. There's also like it's a lot of stuff speaks out to me, and it's like when people like are no longer under her control, right?
Yes.
And then they just start saying like what they've been thinking, and it's so like that's the scariest moments for me is when people are like when Dottie just walks up and goes like, I have a daughter. Her name is Sarah. She's 8. Maybe she can play with your kids. Or maybe she doesn't want to. Maybe she's a school bully. Whatever. Please just let her out of her room.
Or at least let me hold her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or when Norm is like, just like talking about like an email, and it's just like, oh, my dad is sick. Oh my god, my dad is sick, and my younger sister is there. I need to call them right now. And then Vision has to be like, okay, hey. Focus.
Yeah,
I need help here. And all he's been thinking about the entire time is like, well, Wanda, first of all, but the back of his mind has been running thoughts, and they just haven't been able to, like, surface.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he's back to normal, he's like, wow, you're a real whiz at this stuff. As just, chef's kiss. Super unsettling. So I think it does a pretty good job. It evolves a little bit too action-y for me. Like,
yeah, it's just Marvel stuff, though. There's a lot of
yeah.
action in Marvel.
Yes. And it happens with, like, the Agnes reveal. I still really like... Or Agatha?
Yeah, Agnes.
Agnes. What, the Purple Witch. The, like, Purple Witch reveal, which I still think is great. I still love that reveal, and I really like her character.
Yeah.
It's really sick.
It's just unfortunate that she doesn't get to play, like, a bigger part, because the entire time she's just...
Yeah.
Yeah, like she's undercover or whatever.
Yeah, she's hiding. I think it's weird that all the show has to, like, go through and explain that all the strange stuff is her fault. Like, I guess. Okay.
I don't know. Well, a lot of the strange stuff isn't, like, explained as her fault. I don't know.
I guess that's fair.
Yeah,
but, like, a lot of Pietro and, like...
Pietro.
And, like, the... I don't know.
Who's Pietro?
Her brother.
Oh, yeah.
Also...
Him coming back being her was... I don't know. I like that.
Me too.
But also, like, the radio thing. Right? Because that's someone from the outside trying to reach in, right?
God, that was so good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the whole Dottie subplot, too, was really weird.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I guess I think it's funny that, like, that plot line dies as soon as we go to the next episode. Right? Yeah. Like, Dottie is, like... For a moment, the audience is like, oh, is Dottie, like, going to be, like, the show's antagonist? And she's like, nah, don't worry about it.
I don't know. There's, like, a lot going on, though, right?
Like, oh, yeah, there's so much going on. Which is why it's fine. It was just, like, a little jarring. And it's too... Because that was also really unsettling, and I was like, oh, wow, this is super interesting.
Yeah. Anyways, we're winding down a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're going to take the second break of the podcast. We'll see you all in a minute. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Friendship Dawn podcast. We're now going to move on to the date discussion. Mm-hmm. How was your date over the last week, Skylar?
It was pretty good. So my significant other signed us up for HelloFresh, and oh man,
that's so good.
I've been loving it.
Yeah.
Just had some of the most divine some of the best pork chops I've ever eaten in my whole life. On Friday, it was tenderloin steak with mashed potatoes and then, like, parsnips and carrots that were fried in, like, a sauce of some sort. And wow, really like parsnips. Parsnips are pretty good. They're just, like, sweet. They're just, like, a sweeter potato, basically. Yeah. And I love carrots. Love me a good carrot, cooked, baked, fried.
Yeah.
So we finished Stranger Things that night. Unfortunately, while we were finishing Stranger Things, go to cut up on my meat, it's not cooked all the way through. So Jess is like, I'm sorry, here, I'll go finish cooking that, you can have mine. I'm like, sweet. I finish it in like 6 seconds because it's amazing.
Yeah.
And they're both pretty rare because we like our steaks rare.
Mm-hmm.
But it was like, you could tell them the center wasn't cooked.
Yeah.
And so she tries a couple more times to cook it. She tries cutting it into pieces, and it just won't work with her.
Mm-hmm.
And by the time I've already finished her tenderloin piece, and I feel terrible.
Yeah.
Luckily, it doesn't ruin the night, but it does kind of suck.
Yeah.
It was also fun because I had to help her. She was like, there was a moment where she was like, and I like rush up, get up, and I'm like, how can I help? And I help her like prepare the parsnips and carrots, and like I'm stirring the taters while she's prepping the meat. And it's fun. It's fun to cook together. Finishing Stranger Things was good. It it sucks because the show, she doesn't do well with horror stuff, and the show is really tense.
Mm-hmm.
So we usually take like a 2 or 3 week break in between watching like 2 or 3 episodes. So we finally finished
Season 3?
Season 3.
Nice.
It was great. Loved it. Yeah, that was my date night. How was your date night?
So we hung out here. I remember what we watched, but we watched something. Oh no. What did we watch? So they gotta still be up on Netflix, I guess.
Continue watching?
Oh, we watched you. We watched the first
episode of Season 3?
Yeah. We watched the first couple episodes, I think. We watched a little bit.
Okay.
And we got well, one, it was very interesting. And we got Brucci's. Brucci's was really good. The problem is that it was like messy as fuck, and there's like nowhere to eat in my room. Right? So there's this table that we are currently sitting at recording this podcast has a printer on it, my laptop that's about 80% of my space, and then it's also got my scissors, my drink, like the Challenger deck I bought a couple of days ago. These like $10
in cash
on the table,
yeah.
In cash. Just a leftover printer ink because it wasn't out when I refilled the printer ink, but it's out now. But I don't want to put the effort into replacing a single cartridge, so yeah, just all the nice stuff, like 100 hair ties.
TLDR,
yeah.
You can't use this table that we're using right now.
Yeah, we can't use the table we're using right now. So we just kind of sat at the end of the bed, which is on the floor because we spent 3 to 4 hours looking for a Matchbox when I moved, box spring when I moved in, and then couldn't find one. So my bed's just on the floor right now, and we're saving that for a later date. So we're just at the end of the bed, like maybe 10 inches away from the TV screen. And we're just eating Brucci's on the floor. And it's a hardwood floor.
Easy to clean?
I guess. Yeah.
That's the nice thing about hardwood.
Yeah. I just felt really bad because I didn't getting the stuff on the hardwood was really easy to see, and I was like, oh god, it's gonna be so hard to clean this up. It was actually really easy to clean. I don't know what I was so worried about.
Yeah. That's why I love living in an apartment that has hardwood instead of carpet.
Yeah.
Otherwise, our carpet would smell abysmal.
Anyways, that was most of what we did. I do have a story from the other night that we didn't tell last week. And it was after the haunted house. We went to go get coffee at Wake Up Call, right? So we drive up. We make an order, or no, we don't make an order. We drive up to the window. There's 5 bees hanging out. And then I'm looking at all the bees and stuff, and I start making my order, and I'm like, yeah, I want a latte with the and I want a mango smoothie, and then whole time just fucking bees flying everywhere. And I'm hoping none of them go into my car, cause that fucking suck. And then she's like, okay, I got all that. And then we're talking, and then she's just and I'm like, so a lot of bees, huh? And she's like, yep, just a lot of them today, ton of bees. I don't know what's happening. And then she starts making the stuff, right, making the goods, and then she turns to one of her coworkers and goes where are the bee strips? Do we have any bee strips left? Coworker was shrug. And then she was like, and then she walks away and then switches with another barista. And then I don't know how long it's going to take. I want the bees in my car.
Just roll up your window.
So I roll up my window, like, narrowly stop a bee from getting into the car. Then I just sit there and I'm like looking at the window. I don't want to like not be ready to grab the soda because my window's up. I also want to roll my window down because
I would have driven
bees. The bees.
Yeah, the bees. Yeah.
And so we're just like,
are we talking like
sitting there talking about these bees? Like,
are we talking about like wasps or like
bees?
just like generic bees?
Just generic bees.
Okay.
And then I rolled the window. I see like no bees for like 5, maybe 10 seconds.
And you're like, it's go time.
It's go time. Coast is clear. And I roll the window down and they're not ready to give me the drinks. And then like all the bees were like waiting for this opportunity. They were all hiding, and then just they're all in the way now, right? They're all just fucking flying, crisscrossing all across the fucking between window A and window B, and I'm just looking around like, oh god, do I have enough time to roll my window back up or not? And then they're like, okay, here's your drinks, and then they just hold it out there, and there's like bees flying all around their hands, and I'm like. And I go like I have to maneuver around the bees, and then I grab the cup with my hand backwards, and I bring it back, and I'm like, here's your coffee, babe. And then I'm like, oh fuck, I ordered something too.
Oh no.
So I have to do it an entire second time with none of the bees deciding that they like my drink, and so I just fucking lunge for it, and they're like, oh, give me a second. And I'm like,
you have got to be fucking. I'm not gonna lie. You're better than man than I. I would not have stopped at this coffee. I would have been like, sorry, babe, bye. We're done. Done here. Like, again, I mean, it's a little different. I've got like a pretty nasty phobia, but like, I would have just been like, too bad. We're leaving. Yeah. Even if I had already paid for the drinks and there was a bee there, gone. Yep. Not. They can have my $15. Gone.
And then I just took the drink real quick, rolled the fucking jammed the button.
It's like, and you can hear the buzzing, see the bees, and like hoping the bees don't decide to check out your car.
Yeah.
It's like a moment in Predator.
Yeah.
You're just like, come on.
We escaped with no bees.
Hell yeah. Know? I'm honestly surprised.
It was a fun time.
No, it doesn't say. No, you're wrong.
Sorry, drinking the soda was a fun time. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the soda I got.
Good.
Or the smoothie. I can't remember which I had, but it was good.
I was gonna say I don't think so, but that's not like an opinion you can have. It's not fun. You're wrong.
Well. Sounds like we're winding down, so it's a part of the friendship dusk part of the podcast. Mm-hmm. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in.
We would also like to thank anybody tuning in. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
It's just a little self-deprecating.
Yeah, a little more pessimistic. Do you have any closing thoughts for us today, Skylar?
I'm getting Stockholm Syndrome for Dr. Pepper.
I'm sorry.
It's just like it's maybe the better term is a cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
It's my brain rather than just being like, don't drink this. You don't like this. It's just like, you're drinking this, so you must like it. So it must taste good.
Yeah, no, that sounds like Stockholm Syndrome. I think you got the right term.
Yeah, that's all I had.
Nice. Well,
did you have anything?
No. See y'all next week. Don't forget to subscribe to the Patreon. Is it subscribe? Is Patreon like?
Yeah, you subscribe because it's a monthly thing.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and also to subscribe to the Patreon at patreon.com/IvanTT. That's IVANTT. And we'll see you guys next week.
Good night.